Hi and welcome everyone. Lisa here for Honeybee Stamps. Thanks for joining me. So today I have a quick and simple card. We're going to do some stenciling, a little bit of stamping and die cutting for the sentiment, but all together real easy to create this. I have a piece of 100-pound Avalanche white cardstock and a piece of masking paper in the center of that. Now the cardstock panel measures 4 inches high by 8¼ inches wide. The masking paper is 2 inches high by 6 inches long, and I've just centered it in the very center of my panel. Temporarily position the leaf stencil to the holly layering stencil from Honeybee over that cardstock panel and secured it with some purple tape to the back of it. I'm using dye inks, Memento bamboo leaves to be exact, to go ahead and ink up the leaves. Now, I love using dye inks with stencils. I feel like you get a much softer look and the edges are nice and crisp, and I like the look of that. So we're going to stencil this up. Once we're done with the leaves, we'll go ahead and bring the berry stencil in, line that up, and ink it up with some Memento Love Letter ink. Now, even though this is a 6x6 stencil, it's so easy to use for slimline cards because it has such a random pattern to it. Lining it up and then shifting it down to continue the pattern is so simple. So that's what I'm doing here. I did notice right there where I pointed, there's a berry there that I wasn't crazy about because it wasn't lined up, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry one bit about it because it's probably going to get covered up here in just a few seconds. Also, I want to point out that the white thing on my left sleeve is actually mounting foam. So true crafter here. I'm going to use the stripe from the Buffalo Plaid stencil set from Honeybee. And now I use some Pixie spray to the back of this because I'm doing stripes and I'm using tuxedo black ink. I want to know that that stencil is not going to shift on me. Any kind of low tack adhesive spray for stencils that you have will be great, but you might want to take the extra time to spray the back of your stencil at this point so it doesn't shift. I'm going to ink this up with that tuxedo black ink. Now, maybe you're not crazy about black and white stripes like I am. And if you're not, that's perfectly fine. You can skip this part of it and just go on to the next step, where I do the gold trim around the white area in the center with my gel pen. We'll talk about that in just a second. So I just shift my stencil down and continue inking it up. Now notice how I have my Post-it tape covering the ends of the stencil so that I don't end up inking up my panel. And I also want to say that once you're through inking up with this black ink, set the panel to the side, out of harm's way. Clean everything up to include your fingers, because I would hate for you to smear black ink on this panel once you're done with it. It's not fun, trust me. So reveal time is my favorite time, and here's our panel. We have us a 1-layer panel for our slimline card. And here's what I was talking about earlier, that if you don't like the stripes, to skip on to this part here, I just take my gel pen and did a fine white line around that white rectangle there in the center. So here in the center, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment and add my die cut word from the Merry Buzzword stamp set and dies. I'm going to use Wishing You a Christmas, stamp that with Versafine Onyx black ink. And I actually ended up deciding, instead of doing just the Christmas to the bottom right of the open area there, that I would do the Wishing You Christmas in the center and then go ahead and center my die cut word right between those two stamped sentiments. So I've already die cut my sentiment, Merry sentiment, 4 times. Because this is a 1-layer card, I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to it. And I knew I could do that with stacking some of the die cut words together. So I'm using a red cardstock, ran that through the die cut machine, stacked those together with my Honeybee glue. I'm going to add more Honeybee glue to the back of the die cut and then go ahead and center it up. I am going to use my T ruler just to kind of help me make sure I'm keeping it centered, and I like the alignment of it. So you don't have to do that. You can eyeball it if you want. A lot of times I do just eyeball everything, but this time I decided I would bring the T-ruler in and let that guide me a little bit. Now, once I'm done with this, I decided I wanted to add another gold trim around the outer part of my panel. You can skip this if you want. It's completely up to you and how you want your panel to look. But I love the look of the black and white stripes and the holly with the gold. I think it has such a festive touch to it. So came in with the holiday cheer gem stickers, and sorry, every time I read the holiday cheer, I always just see the Grinch in my head saying, holiday what? Holiday hooby wuddy? So anyways, I came in with those gem stickers and added a few of those to the berries on the card. I really do hope you enjoyed joining me today as much as I enjoyed sharing. And you can find more information on the products I used on the Honeybee Stamps website. And until next time, take care.